All right, welcome back, guys. You're here with Trey, Crypto Forms. Okay, so what we have here is Bitcoin. Yeah, we have a whole bunch of charts that we need to get through. We're gonna get through a few charts. I've applied my own little ninjaness to all of what's going on here to try and work out roughly what I'm seeing rather than what everyone is saying and what fundamentals are saying. Yeah, it gets a bit hazy sometimes with all of that out there. So no matter what, I'm gonna jump straight to it and say that I'm seeing that the whole of all of this is here. And we're like, oh, kind of like a bunch of idiots. The things we don't realize, this support here, yeah. Hold on, where am I? Yeah, this support here, this one, what's all this? Yeah. And then literally, this is the beginning of this. So at the end of the day, yeah, why is this happening? Oh, literally, I had to go back to traditional trading. I bloody hate the thing. That's why I ran to crypto. But now I'm back there trying to figure out what's going on because I know a lot of their nasty money is in this space. That's what you guys need to become conscious of. A lot of that money is in this space. It's always going to be bloody nasty now. Literally is what it is. It's the way they think to always keep their versions of an ebb and flow running. It's not ebb and flow that benefits us. You have to understand that. Ebb and flow feeds off of us, pretty much. So as I was saying, what we have here, this is this. We'll go down. Once we've done the support on there, what is that? That obviously is this, meaning we're probably supporting on here. Oh, look, perfectly in line with that, what I've set there already, 54. I'm gauging that they can make it as ugly as they want, so between 50 and 54. Make sure you have the backing of the technicals if you're trying to rely on the fundamentals. Don't put trust in the fundamentals. You have to understand that this is the ebb and flow of man. This is all man-made. This is human construct. Never forget that. Yeah. Sometimes we have to watch how we're applying certain um elements within us that are human, that are of humanity, that should only apply to what? Nature. Yeah. So that gives you quite a bit of the foundational core understanding that's really needed to kind of stay not getting caught up. Yeah. So anyway, as I was saying, we've got free fall there. Yeah. Then we go over to what the influence is. The main influence. Oh, S&P. Who would have guessed? People acting like this doesn't bloody exist sometimes. The thing is, if you get stuck in the little the crypto ecosystem bubble, you're gonna get lost, you're gonna get caught, you're gonna lose a lot of money. And that's what would typically happen. You have to watch what's happening on all this side of dealings, oil prices, gold prices, bonds, treasuries, just like the fact that they've made us so conscious of tariff wars. There was other things to consider as well. And at the end of the day, obviously we do understand the fundamentals being that Trump is literally going against the Fed in order to achieve the deal that he wants to achieve using whatever aggression that he can legally utilize. That's the thing. He will push it to the limits, of course, because that's what you do when, say, if you came from the Wild West, say you were a pirate at some point and you came back to Earth, came back into this human construct and were given some sort of power. This is what it looks like. So at the end of the day, the markets are gonna insinuate his nature. And as I said, Wild West, pirate era, get understanding that, get knowing your history and understand what we're going back into and why you have to watch for certain levels of deception. Okay, so as I was saying, S&P, we can see detailed here. We had the close of the CME gap. We've had it test, try and do the formation that it was supposed to do. I was expecting a test of up to, I think it was 4800s. Yeah, 5500 up to, well, basically to test under its first one. But this is a formation that S&P has used before. I'll be able to show you better on another chart I've got here. Okay, here's a better chart. Okay, so S&P, as you see, we had this test. I literally got that right. I said that line there, literally did it. I made a previous video about this where potentially after this test we could have gone down supported and then done the test under here about 5900 under the support that you see right here pretty much. And then we would have continued down. You have to use stuff like this formation here, this formation, that formation. You're basically checking one of the formations to try and work out which one could it be. It can only be one of the ones it's typically been before. It has a personality, it's always going to exercise things within its personality, within the structure of its personality. Its personality being its form. So this little reference we've got here, set my blue arrow here. I best believe, I do believe that all of this is going to happen. meaning this is going to be ramped down. And sometimes I'm like, it takes me like an hour to figure out what I thought at the time because it was so deep, or how I saw what I saw. I had to recalculate. I didn't put the calculation, all I did was put a line. Yeah. So at the end of the day, I do know that that line is roughly where I expect this to end up. At the same time, you can expect, so obviously as S&P, if it does end up here after doing all of this formation, with each one of these being decent, juicy rallies that can last even up to a couple months, few months maybe. But that's a sideways movement that we would get. And the thing is, it's kind of justified in what we can expect from Bitcoin if it is to do this. Retest of the peak, as I've always said, no matter what, we test down into some range, we're going to get a retest of the peak. We have to retest this range. We have to. It only makes sense. That's one thing. If you feel that you're out of the money, fair enough if you're doing perpetual trading, but if you're doing spot trading, it is still viable to hold your positions. Be rest assured that you can still hold your positions and expect to benefit from some sort of recovery within the altcoins from it touching back this region. Do not expect it to be perfect. Do not expect full efficiency because of the dominance of Bitcoin, of course. So, as I said, that's what we're gauging so far. Really, everything I've just discussed is that and that. Yeah, it's only probably worthwhile discussing that and the dynamics, and the elements that are going to create this effect. Obviously, as seen in the S&P. Okay, so stuff like Ethereum now. I've set this here as my first initial gauge. Let me see what I've got here. Okay, so that's my first initial gauge from just a slight little rally from this region, a slight little rally before we come down. We're coming down into the region, people. That's what I believe. I should also set one of these down here somewhere. I think it was 440 or around that price that I was estimating at least $400. No one's expecting that. Everything's being engineered out there. I say engineered for a reason. Um, to make it seem as if we're gonna have such a beautiful bounce off of this and the world is gonna be so right after this support. No. So as I said before, we're expecting some sort of test around 400. I want to leave it at that for now. I'm not going to get into any details as relate in relation to that. When we do actually break this, you'll hear from me again. Yeah, so when we've broken 1,000, I'll be back to give a bit more detail about what exists within the abyss. Yeah, we'll cover that then. So even if we were to have a look at like the total free, yeah, so you have the total market cap excluding BTC and Ethereum. Even if we were to look at this, as you can see, I've got my beautiful blue line there again as to where I expect we should at least end up before. Because the way I'm treating this now is as we get closer to this, I'm going to see what its relationship is with BTC, SPX, and Ethereum and what's happening with all of that. Really, you can say BTC and SPX and its relationship with SPX, and then its relationship with Bitcoin and how SPX influences it, being its most major influence out there. SPX is probably the most reflective of the typical ebb and flows of this construct, basically. Okay, so where I'm getting this from now as well, you actually have a reference over here. It looks awfully similar, yeah. So I decided to use this as reinforcement of my logic. No matter what, we know with this, in terms of physics, no matter what, you know you have to touch down in here somewhere to form the correct support. But yeah, at a peak, we have this touching down of a mini rally before a further downtrend. I'm putting this in line with when this touches that support, potentially, could Ethereum touch somewhere down in this and then do its little rally as well? And then continue the downtrend. So that's what I'm saying. I'm right now. I'm waiting to see how everything makes its connection and how they all relate to each other, and then from that, I'll be able to form better judgment. But from this, you get the gist of how you're able to actually protect yourself during times like this. If it looks hazy, just do all of this analysis until all of your stars align. All of the stars that you've spotted, till all of them align, and then based on that alignment, you're able to build confidence and re-enter the market at that point. That's how it should be. So, as I said, that's my 2 cents. I hope this helps. I could carry on. I could show so many more charts in their relationship, but that's what I'm trying to show people right now. Please focus on those technicals. Don't get so caught up in the fundamentals. We came from an era where fundamentals worked so well. I don't think that that's the time anymore. All right, guys, I'm literally just gonna add this on. I was here editing the video. This started happening, so you know what? I'm just gonna add it on. Obviously, within that portion of the video, the previous portion of the video, or should I say the previous segment, I did say that I was anticipating for us to get to the 5400s test, and then it should be a full reversal at that point. So literally, the people are going to have a very beautiful short around the 5500 mark, just below 5500 mark, I'd say. It may go around just above 5500, but anywhere, give or take 5500, basically. Yeah. So I'm actually amazed to see this move, but in a way, I was wondering, is this really it? Are we going to call it like, am I supposed to just say it's a bearish version of it? I really did not expect it to come this far to have the support to break out. I thought at some point it would have picked some part of it to kind of make it, if you see what I'm saying, boom, boom, kind of that type of thing. But instead, obviously, it did the full support, then actually went to it. So pretty much what it did is a CME gap close, you could say, and fully retraced, and then did that move after, like separating the two. When I really, really was thinking, could it potentially be a two birds in one situation? But as I said, I did anticipate that potentially we still could be going to retest up here. Okay, and to be honest, what it's actually done is, in a way, created a little warpage to this in of the bullish form, of course. This should not exist. To me, this is exactly the same as this scenario right now. So I expect a retracement, full test, and full fail. We may even just get a full fail if we understand what S&P has to do. As I said, S&P is what leads this thing. I don't care what anyone says. For years, of course, for over a decade, I've been running on BTC being the main reference point, but that's when things weren't as tainted. Don't forget. Yeah, don't forget the foundation of how we got here, of how everything got propped up. All right. So that's that. I'm gonna end the video here for now. As I said, this was just a quick addition to the video that I've done, and I was editing and looking to put it out pretty much right now. So as I said, I'm gonna add this to it and then put it out to you guys. Hope you guys have a wonderful day. Hope you're able to navigate all of this well. I hope no one's suffering too bad. We all are suffering no matter what. There's no one that did not get touched by this, unless you were a bear from the jump. Fair enough. Then you got touched when it was the bull market. So yeah, guys, crypto forms once again. Name's Trey, and I'm out.